Oh.
Okay. You see, you teed up my question, which
point.
was, how can agents better sell luxury travel and experiential travel?
Well,
What are the sales tools you'll need?
Well, I'm so glad you asked.
I'm so glad you asked.
So there's a couple of things. If you're a travel agent, we're throwing a lot of stuff out here, but you don't have huge marketing departments and you don't have time to do market research. So a couple of hints for you. Number one, if you want to know what's trending and how to fill those gaps, every year just look at what all of us have to offer that's new. It's new because we listen to the market. The market leads us. We don't lead the market. We listen to the market. And so we have to have our finger on the pulse of where the areas of growth is in terms of demand. So if you simply look at what's new, you're going to have a really quick list of what's in demand and what's hot. Number two, you don't really have to worry too much about destination. I've been in thousands of agencies over my course of my career, as many of my colleagues here have, and the vast majority of people that walk into your agency have some idea of where they want to go. So your job, for the most part, is not where they go, it's how they go. And I think both Navin and Ignacio touched on that. So you really have to deliver the how part more than the where part. That means that you don't have to be an expert on geography. What you have to be is an expert on your client and an expert on the means that they wish to travel in, with the budget that they can afford to travel. So those are really important things.
Okay, Ignacio?
A couple of things. Sorry, Gail.
We'll get to Gail next.
Yes, please. One is you have to affiliate with the right network. You cannot afford to be the Lone Ranger anymore, and you need to be with the right organization that has the right technology, the contacts, the cloud, the services and the relationships to plug you right in and be able to tap into that. Number two is you have to make a commitment. I mean, this really is the most important thing, because remember, the traveler is not buying the product or the destination, they are buying you. So you have to put all your heart and all your passion and all your soul into everything that you do, because you are the sort of the key link that is making all of this happen. I would also give you a couple of words of advice after being in this business over 40 years. Think like a financial planner. Nobody walks into an office of Fidelity Investments and say, I'd like to buy 100 shares of the Morgan Stanley fund. You sit down with a planner. They think about the future. Mm-hmm. Where are you going? What do you want to do? And we have to do the same with our clients and understand them and what their aspirations are, and be able to deliver and follow up with them and have these, long-term relationships. And finally, is you have to really know your stuff. I hate to say this, but there are no shortcuts. So you really have to read constantly. You have to read what your clients are reading and things that your clients don't read. So maybe your clients read the New York Times every Sunday, but maybe you should read the Financial Times on the weekend, which is one of my favorite travel articles. Every Saturday and Sunday, there are at least 2 or 3 great travel articles. You wouldn't think of that, but it's kind of counterintuitive, but you can pick up a lot of great nuggets there. So
we're at the New York Times travel show. We can't mention the Financial Times.
We like both. We like both.
Okay, Gail.
Listen, here's what I would say is, I think, one, getting yourself into the right place and into the right organization is absolutely critical. I mean, we spend an inordinate amount of our time talking about what tools and resources we can deliver to our agents so that they can be more knowledgeable, and whether that's regularly having our different partners and our vendors come in to share what's new, to show what's new, to explain what's new, whether it's providing things like wellness training certification for our agents so they become experts in specific fields and what they understand. The only thing, Rick, I would say is I do think, you know what, you do have to be a destination expert, because when people come in and say they want to go someplace, they might not really want to go there. You might know a better place for them. I think it is up to that travel. For those of you in the room, I mean, for me, there's a difference between, particularly on the luxury side, being an order taker or a travel consultant, right? It's easy to book. If somebody says they want to go to Paris, it's easy to book them to Paris. But when you know the destination and you know what's there and you know what capabilities are there, you really are not just taking them from where they are to where they're going. You are providing that experience that is completely tailored to that individual. And so the purpose of fam trips, the purpose of being able to spend time with the various properties, the purpose of, I always tell our partners when they come in, they say, how can we sell more to you all? And I am quite clear. If they don't know you, they won't sell you. Because establishing those relationships for you as a travel agent is critical, because they're the one you're going to need those relationships when you're dealing with the luxury client in order to tailor with their needs. And so, I say this all the time to my team. If we're doing anything during the day that isn't working to help support the agent, help them grow their business, help them make more money, and help them serve their client better, we need to stop doing it. Put it down now, walk away from your desk and go do it, because the tools and the education that we work to provide the agents, otherwise it's going to be overwhelming for our agents to have to learn, and we need to be able to help them stay focused.
Yeah, I want to go to Navin, and then I'll go to Ted. Navin?
So whether it's a wedding or whether it's a multi-generational trip or whether it's a simple holiday, people are seeking from you an expert's advice. Just as my colleagues here have said, financial planner or somebody that knows a destination. So you truly have to make yourself highly committed to becoming an expert. You can't become an expert in anything and everything. I think you've got to be very selective, and you've got to pick and choose not just destinations, but you've got to pick and choose suppliers. You've got to understand suppliers, whether it's hotels or whether it's tour operators or whether it's people operating cruise ships or riverboats or whatever it is. You have to have a level of expertise in it that is far greater. And the main reason for that is you've got to build trust with your client. They are entrusting their holiday with you. That is enormously important to them, and nothing will sour quicker than that trust than a complete lack of expertise all the way through.
Okay, Ted?
So, going last, I would underscore what my colleagues have said. Like Ignacio and Gail, you have to plug into the right network, but then you also have to plug into the right operators, like Navin was just saying. You have to have a quality operator. So, and that's the mantra that we live by. We turn our cruises on Monday. Every Tuesday morning, I get the quality scores. We're finding increasingly older Americans are concerned about healthcare access. It's a big deal traveling internationally. So,
Well, you're not that far away.
We've got. Pardon?
You're not that far away.
We're never that far away. I thought he was saying I was not that far away from being an older person and needing health care.
No, I didn't
that
mean
far
that.
away from. I'm not actually, James.
I'm in the same boat, so don't worry.
We're not that far away from U.S. healthcare. So, so what we started out saying, hassle-free. There's a lot of people that are just tired of the TSA pat-downs. They're tired of the long haul. They're tired of foreign exchange. They're tired of foreign language. So, but they're still active and they're still lifelong learners and they still want to travel. So it's like Gail was saying, you got to understand the client. You've got to understand the product. You've got to understand the distribution network. And all of the operators, all of the good operators offer webinars, seminars. We do that because, like Ignacio was saying, there are a lot of products out there, and it's really tough to be an expert on every one of them.
Okay, Ignacio?
I would add one last thing, and I would say ask a lot of questions. And I think that's something that we are all guilty of, that we think we have the answers right away. And I think if we spent a few more minutes interviewing our customers and really listening for what people truly want, which may not be what they said they wanted at the very beginning, but it's just as you probe down and you really drill deeper into the customer's passions and their interests, you will find that there is a lot there that can enrich the whole sale process and can make you more successful.
And I would also add leverage your colleagues. I mean, we see this all the time at both Pro Travel and at Zell. We have a way for an agent to send out a note to everybody saying, can you help me? I have a client that's looking for a hotel on Palau with a certain kind of artwork, and leverage the knowledge of the rest of your colleagues, because while you can't be an expert in everything, there's somebody out there who probably knows a destination that you might be unfamiliar with, or knows a very particular nuance of the destination. And I think that's critical.
Okay, and Rick, we'll close that out, and then we're going to go into the last question.
In a world of endless choices, it's daunting, but there are 3 principles that have always been and always will be. Number 1, you have to sell the products that give you the greatest chance to sell again. Every time you make a sale, you have to ask yourself, did this lead to the next sale? And it's not just to that customer. Did the customer come back so enthusiastic that they're waiting to buy it again? Are they so
Or
enthusiastic
tell their friends, yeah.
that they're going to tell their friends that they can't stop talking about it? So if they're not just satisfied, but if satisfaction is exceeded, if they can't wait to go again and they're talking about it, that's a product you want to look at. Once you find out what those products are, the next step is learn a little bit about the companies behind those products. What is their brand promise? And great brands are still around because they keep that promise consistently. And then finally, you have to learn specifically what it is about those products that create the repeat factor. And the last place you will ever find that information is in a brochure or on the internet, because everybody makes the same promises, but at a different price point and a different delivery. So you have to find out from the customers that are raving fans, tell me exactly what it is that you loved about it, and start collecting that information, and even collecting testimonials from your clients. And that becomes the real source of truth when you begin to sell to other prospective clients.